can we give a warm Zoom welcome to that is the amazing Kirk Whalum, Grammy Award winner and global recording artist. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so happy to be part of your celebration. I'm hoping my Wi-Fi holds up in here. I'm backstage in Detroit at a place called the Aretha Franklin Arena, and the Queen herself anointed this place. She performed here. I performed here many times, and it's good to be here. I left sound check to come hang out with you. So they're
Oh,
they're
I
they're
am.
looking at their watch like this, like, yeah, when are you coming back? But I'm glad to hang out with you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you being here and giving us 15 minutes of your time. So I'm not going to waste any more time and just get right into it. And so I just want to know, do you think that the solo that you did on Whitney Houston's song, I Will Always Love You, made you famous? Or was you famous before that?
Well, interesting, right? Whitney used to say, she said, use my name if it'll help, but it won't always help. And so recently I played for some kids, 5, 6, 7 years old, and they were looking at me like, wow, I like that thing you play. And one of the teachers said, well, children, he played with Whitney Houston. And they're like, I don't know who that is, but I like that thing you play. So, I'll say that the solo I played on I Will Always Love You, I've talked to a musicologist who said that sax solo has been heard by more people than any other sax solo. So when I think back on Whitney, insisting that her band, performed live to the film, as she sang live to the film. These were two things they were not willing to do. One, to have her sing live to the film. Two, for have us playing. But her band was multiracial. She had women in her band. She was insistent on that. And as it turns out, we were able to make history because of that.
Phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful. And also, when I interview artists, for example, Judah Seeley, who's on this Zoom event right now, I always say to them, who inspires you musically? And your name will always come up. You and Grover Washington Jr. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's incredible, because I'm still inspired by Grover Washington, and I think there comes a point. Part of it is like there's a song we had a place here called Toys R Us. I don't know if you have that in England, but it's a toy store, and the motto was, "I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid." Well, I don't want to grow up. It's like I look around and I'm 63 as of last week,
Wow.
and it's still hard for me to think of myself as a legend or something like that. People, say that to me, and I'm like, wow, I know who the legends are, right? They're, John Coltrane, they're Joe Henderson, they're Dave Sanborn, etc. But for someone to call me that, I'm always just a little. It's confusing. I'm like, no, I'm still trying to be good. I'm still practicing a lot.
Mhm.
I'm on stage today, by the way, with Keiko Matsui, and
Oh,
we are celebrating the recording Humanité, which
yeah.
means humanity,
Uh-huh.
with Keiko. And I've got another special guest from New Zealand on the record. Her name is Andrea Lisa. She's here performing. John Stoddard is performing.
Mm.
Um, when we play this music, we're celebrating the UK in one sense, and that's that a lot of the music we did on this recording, we did there. We produced it there. My friend James McMillan lives in Hastings. We did 60% of the record there when it comes to mixing and all that stuff. But we recorded all over the world, in Jakarta and Japan and in Nairobi and all over. But let me say this, that green dress is beautiful. You look so wonderful today.
Oh, thank you.
Enough about me.
No, but I wanted to talk about humanity because that is quite an incredible album that you did right there, really powerful. And you use people all over the world. And you used a drummer by the name of Wesley Joseph, and
Man,
he is
not only
marvelous.
Wesley, and he is such a beautiful, incredible person. His
Yeah.
girlfriend is also. I'm a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
She's
yeah, I
amazing.
had so many great Africans and British musicians. Man, Mark, all the great musicians from there.
Yeah, because Wesley Joseph is my friend. He used to be my neighbor. Used to live a minute walk from where I am. I was like, wow, that's
Yeah, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and Sona has already agreed to perform on my next Humanite.
Oh,
I've already got Wesley, so I might as well have her too.
oh yeah, that would be sensational. Absolutely. And also your DVD for humanity is incredible.
Oh, thank you. We started telling the story of making the film as because we traveled, to France, and we were in Nigeria and Kenya and South Africa and all over. And the filmmaker, when we got to the point of putting a film together, he changed his mind. He said, no, this needs to be told in context with your hometown of Memphis, where Martin Luther King went and sacrificed for the sanitation workers. It still brings a tear to my eye because those men were working, with no respect, and they would hold up a sign and say, "I am a man," And so Martin King spoke about the beloved community. That's what we are. You, me, Wesley, all of people in the world, all colors, all faith traditions, everything. We are the beloved community. And so Humanite tells that story in a musical form.
Yeah, it was just beautifully done. Everything, everybody had their own individual stories, which I love. And I just want everybody to actually watch that, download it. You can download it everywhere and
Yeah.
watch that. It was just beautifully done. I
Oh,
applaud.
thank you.
And the gospel according to Jazz, they are phenomenal too. And it must take a lot of work to do all these things. Not just getting the musicians together, but actually
Well,
getting it filmed.
right. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you always start those projects knowing that you don't have enough money to do them, that God is going to have to work a miracle, but I can count on certain things, like my brother Kevin. I don't have to ask him, it's just about telling him what what time, when do I show up? And George Duke was the same way. He was, he's like, no, I don't need to. We don't need to go through the whole process of whether or not I'm going to be involved. Just tell me when and where, and I'll be there. Same with Jonathan Butler. And so I think people took it on as something that they needed to do, that they had to do for other reasons. Obviously our friendship, our relationship is how it got started, but it was about presenting in that form people consecrating their gifts for something higher, someone greater. They weren't all Christians, Layla Hathaway, but again, I can be in that space and say, I love Jesus. Can we do this where you just celebrate your own spiritual life in this format? And man, people get such a blessing, and so do they. Man, George Duke, you can tell that his relationship with God was just fast forward in this process of making the gospel according to Jazz.
Oh, that's beautiful. It really is. And I encourage everybody also to watch that. You can see that it's on Amazon Prime. That's where I watched it. It was just so nice watching it on the big screen. It's just absolutely amazing. The sound quality, the artists.
Thank you.
Yeah. So is there going to be a number five?
We want to do five in South Africa. I'll say that the pandemic, you know, did a number on a lot of people's plans. So, we can say the man plans things, but God decides if and when they'll happen.
Yeah.
So let's just say that my plan is to do chapter 5 in South Africa. We'll see. I'm so excited. I'm beginning to write. I have a lot of people I want to invite to be part of it. A lot of them live there in the UK. And by the way, Soweto Kent, I'm sending a shout out to him because
Okay.
I would love to do something with him. I feel like I'm going to hold on to his coattails since he's flying faster than the rest of us.
I need to ask a question on humanity. You have a track with Keiko Matsui, SJL. Whenever I play that, I was like, this was made for me. It's made for, SJL, Smooth Jazz Lounge. But can you tell me what SJL actually means?
It means Smooth Jazz Lounge. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Oh, okay, well, okay, we changed it. We're changing it now to mean Smooth Jazz Lounge.
Yeah.
Um, I'll say, I'll be honest, and it was kind of a joke because Gerald Albright and Peter White and I were doing a show, and we were introduced as smooth jazz legends. And we all kind of looked at each other and went, whoa, man, that makes me feel so old. And, and we weren't totally comfortable with, our whole life being, summed up in smooth jazz, whatever, but because there's so many things that we aspire to do. Nonetheless, we sure are grateful for folks who love the music that they call smooth jazz. I'm grateful that they listen to me on, for any reason at all. So we are now changing the title to Smooth Jazz Lounge.
Wonderful. And that is recorded on there, so that's the truth now. You can't
document it.
And so when I interviewed your brother Kevin, who is just amazing as well, he told me how many musicians are in your family. So are we going to see a album, a Kirk, no, a Whalum family album? Not talking about picture album, talking about a music album.
Yes, well, so, and maybe a picture album too. But you're right. Ruby and I have 4 kids, and one of our kids is Kyle, who plays with Kelly Clarkson. So folks who have seen footage of Kelly Clarkson, or they've seen her on her show, which is about to go prime time now. She's no longer going to be in daytime. You see my son Kyle. You see my nephew Kenneth, who's a great artist. Kenneth Whalum, unbelievable saxophonist, singer. Our nephew. That's my nephew, I'm sorry. And my nephew, Cortland, is an amazing singer, Cortland Whalum. And then Cameron, a lot of people have seen him with Bruno Mars. He's been with Bruno for about 6 years now, I think. And so we are planning that. We've done a little of that already. We're wanting to make a kind of family presence. It's hard to get everybody together, but we're working on that too. So hopefully we'll have somebody to watch that.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I do not want to keep up any more of your time. I think we need to do this again. Although this is my last one, I may have to come back and do a new one just for you.
Well, listen, it's your last one of this particular thing, but I know you're going on to something great. And thank you for your beautiful gift. I know your fans, they're like, who is this Kirk Whalum guy? I'm telling them I'm hanging out with you so that I can have some street cred on the streets of London.
Thank you so much. We'll see you in London real soon.
God bless you.
Oh, take care. Have a wonderful event this evening. Thank you so much, Kirk. Woo! How great was that? Kirk Whalum, my special guest.
Hush now, child. Don't you cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up to want your destination.
I hope you all enjoyed that. When I realized I had 15 minutes with him, it's like, what do you ask a legend in 15 minutes? And this is off his latest album, Humanity. Move On Up, featuring Brendan Riley. But please do check out his DVDs, they are sensational.